What we saw was an opportunity to look at a managed service provider and say, let's change their lives.
Solve little problems, make little money. Solve big problems, make big money.
I couldn't get hired. I couldn't even get an internship. Necessity breeds the best innovation. We don't have factories and plants and, we're not building cars and all that kind of stuff. We are humans. People are factories, if you will.
Welcome to Built to Scale with Anthony Mangialuzzo, and I have a very special guest today. I would say, honestly, my spirit animal. I mean, I wanted to meet you so bad for so many years. We were supposed to meet when COVID hit, and then we got together after that. And, a man that literally changed a large industry, and not just here in the U.S., but globally. Fred Voccola, former CEO of Kaseya, vice chair, and I'm sure working on a lot of other things that we could talk about: entrepreneur, board member, award winner. I mean, the list goes on and on. So, Fred, welcome.
Well, thanks, Anthony. It's great to be here. And I got to tell you, one Jersey guy to another, what you have built in your business is awesome. And I'm not
coming from you. That means a lot. It really does.
I mean, about that super cool van you drive around in, which I'm sure we'll get into. That is the neatest thing in the world. I got actually to get a peek inside of it, but no, it's amazing. It really is. And I've been lucky enough, we started Kaseya and as we built that business out, dealt with literally, I don't know, tens of thousands of service providers around the world. And I can probably count on one hand, maybe even several fingers, people whose businesses are as good as the business that you've built in this sector. It's amazing. So congratulations to that. And it's great to see the success that you have had and continue to have. And also as you've diversified into different areas, it's super badass. It's cool.
I appreciate it. It means a lot, like I said, coming for you. And let's get started in the journey. I mean, I learned something that probably a lot of people don't know about you. Probably the second or third time we got together. You started your first business in college. Yeah. Give us the quick skinny on that.
Yeah. So it was about 3 years ago when I was in college. But no, I thought I wanted to be like a Wall Street guy. When I was coming out of school, when I was in school, I was able to go to school on scholarship and stuff, which is great. But the idea was you wanted to go work at a Goldman Sachs or a management consulting firm like a Booz Allen or McKinsey, that kind of thing. So I wanted to go to Wall Street and I couldn't get hired. I couldn't even get an internship. So, necessity breeds the best innovation. And I've always liked computers, and there was a lot of interesting things happening in the financial services industry at the time. So I built a little application. It was, I don't want to bore your audience with what it did, but it was a small little application that was pretty neat. And I got lucky enough that a consulting company bought it. And then they bought it my summer between my junior and senior year of college. And it wasn't like a 9-figure or 10-figure exit, or even a 7-figure exit, or even a 6-figure exit. Yeah. It was like around $45,000, which was all the money in the world to me and my friends back then. And I'll tell you, we had the best spring break trip my senior year of college you could ever imagine. We were drinking bottled beer. We had like our own hotel rooms and stuff, but all kidding aside, it got me started into the software business. So consulting company bought it. And then that consulting company was acquired by one of the early-ish Silicon Valley venture capital funded companies. And this is the early 90s. So it's not like today where there's, private equity dollars around every corner for technology businesses and things like that. There were very few. And as an East Coast guy, a Jersey guy, to get exposed to that at such an early age was amazing. And then, I was fortunate enough to be in that ecosystem as it kind of got started. And, it was the greatest thing about the technology industry and the software industry, as you know as well from your experience. Doesn't matter where you went to school, who your mommy and daddy is, how many silver spoons or lack that you have. Especially back then, it was if you can build kick-ass solutions that add a lot of value, you can go and do it. No one cares what color you are, what religion you are, anything. It was amazing. And I got the opportunity to really thrive in that environment at a very early age. And it was fun. So that started my journey into technology. And I was very blessed that Goldman Sachs wouldn't take an interview with me. And I'm very glad.
It's so funny you said that. So I didn't know that part of the story. So PCS started because I couldn't get an internship. So I started fixing home computers going around because I wanted to put some like real world experience on my resume. So that's funny.
That's cool.
So college, you've been through all these things. Obviously, I think you're 5x Kaseya. I think when you got in there, it was 400 million in sales and there were over 2 billion, give or take.
Yeah. So when I jumped into Kaseya, it was a little smaller. It was about 40 million, 45 million of recurring revenue. And the business was struggling. It was, the company had lost its way a little bit. Kaseya, great story about Kaseya was so Kaseya and ConnectWise were the two kind of founding software companies in what is today the SMB facing IT and cybersecurity managed service market. A guy named Gerald Blackie was the original founder of Kaseya, and a guy named Arnie Bellini was the original founder of ConnectWise. And some interesting stories between those two, but they pioneered the space. And then Arnie eventually sold out to Thoma Bravo, but earlier than that, Gerald had sold to Insight Partners, then called Insight Venture Partners. They bought the asset, and the company struggled a little bit, kind of got away from the MSPs. And I went in and we looked at it, and we just saw a diamond that needed a lot of polishing. And we also looked at the MSP space, and we saw a vertical market that was exploding because, as you know better than anybody, small to mid-sized businesses around the world were becoming more and more dependent. Now they're totally dependent, but 2012, 13, 14, they started to become more and more dependent on the business and industrial systems that drive them. And in order for those systems, so if you're a dental practice or a law firm or an architecture firm, if you're dependent upon your system, it has to be always available and always secure. You can't go down every 3 hours. You can't get, you can't have ransomware incidents and all these things. So managed service providers started, like your business, started exploding. I mean, exploding. And that's because the end customers were exploding. Now, we at Kaseya saw this. At Kaseya, we provide the software platform that managed service firms like yours and others use. And what we saw was an opportunity to look at a managed service provider and say, let's change their lives. We provide great technology, but let's provide a comprehensive platform that when a managed service provider like PCS implements it, not only is it the best tech, not only is it cool and neat, but more importantly, it can change the unit economics of firms like yours. Because what we learned early on was the average MSP was spending 30% of their revenue on the software and hardware kit used to deliver their managed services. And that led to an average profit margin of about 8% for the whole industry. And when you talk to your colleagues and your peer groups, you see it. The average MSP, if they do $1 million of revenue, are bringing home $80,000 at the end of the day. And we looked at that and said, that's an injustice. That's not right. Because MSPs do really important things to keep our economy going. So if we can build a platform that provides everything that an MSP requires, and we can charge 1/3 as much for it, we can triple the profit margin of the entire industry. And that was really the recipe of the success that we have had and continue to have. So, now we're over $1.5 billion in revenue, over 5,000 employees around the world. And, when I look at our company, I'm no longer CEO, I'm now vice chairman and one of the larger shareholders in the business. I see only great things because the market, the customers, people like your business, what you do is continuing to explode. And we're just trying to help organizations like you deliver for your customers and make a ton of money while you do it.
Yeah, it's amazing just seeing how you changed it. I mean, one of the things I said to you when we were in the Miami office was the culture. So can you share with me maybe how did you keep a culture and while also delivering all this fast growth? I mean, you have a high pressure job. Everyone likes you. When you go around the building, it's not you're not the one where people are running away from. So how do you build that culture while also building tremendous sales volume?
Yeah, I think one of the things, and it's not just Kaseya, it's other things I've done and some new things I'll be doing very soon in the future. It's when you have a mission, like a lot of companies lose their way because they lose their mission. Now, businesses exist to make money. That's a given. But the employees of the business, especially intellectual property businesses like both of ours, we don't have factories and plants and, we're not building cars and all that kind of stuff. We are humans. People are our factories, if you will. And if those people have a vested interest in the business, not just a financial interest, but they give a shit. There's a mission they care about. You get more out of it. And you also can rally people together. I give this analogy a lot. I say, one of the things I love about business is I love innovation. I love disrupting, but I also love building a team. It reminds me a lot of high school sports. I played high school sports, and the coolest part about team sports is you have people who might not otherwise get together, right? If you're playing football, let's say, and you have 100 guys on your team, you're not going to socialize with all 100 guys in the normal world, yet being a part of that team brings everyone together for a common goal. Business is the same way. And that's super cool. So if you're mission focused, you can bring people together that never would have socialized or got together, and they're all on point for the same goal. Our mission was to take people like you, business owners, that are doing really important stuff, protecting small to mid-sized businesses around the world from cyber gangs and allowing them to be successful. If we're helping them fight that fight and helping these business owners make more money and be more successful and put their kids through school and employ more people, that's pretty cool. We're not curing cancer or delivering babies, or we're not in a foxhole fighting terrorists, but we're still doing good. And if you can have a mission that does good, I think it rallies people a lot. And then, you don't have to beat people over the head to do their job. They do their job because A, they're self-motivated, but B, they're a part of a team and a part of a mission they care about. And that's from day one, not just at Kaseya, but everywhere I've been. I've always gravitated towards businesses where the problems we solve actually matter, and they make the world a better place. That sounds a little cheesy, but it matters, and it's super important.
I love it. I love it. You could say, if anyone ever gets the opportunity to walk around, it's contagious over there. So let me ask you. I'm going to ask you one question, then we'll go into a little bit of a speed round, and we'll follow up with a few things. So, any specific turning point in your life that you said hey, I'm going to be a CEO of $1 billion company, right? Let's be honest. That's the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. So where are we? I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it, and I want this pressure. Give it to me.
Yeah, I've never been asked that question before, man. That's a good one. I love business. I told this story at a town hall literally yesterday, and I said when I was younger, I wanted to be a veterinarian because I love animals. I want to be either a doctor or a veterinarian, because that's the ultimate way to help people. It's awesome. It's the best feeling in the world. And I took biology in high school, and it was not going to happen. It was not. You would not want
biology too.
You would not want me to be your doctor. I'm not smart, clearly not smart enough to do that. So I just always enjoyed business, and not so much business from an accounting standpoint or that. It's more the disruptive nature of changing things to make them better. And I was very lucky. I had the most amazing parents, and my father was a very innovative businessman. He was, military, intelligence community, and then when he got into the private sector later, I saw firsthand some of the ways that he would look at a problem. So he was one of the principals in the company that invented electronic toll collection systems. So you're a Jersey guy, Easy Pass, right? My dad's company, Datacom, which they sold to Lockheed, they invented Easy Pass. Now, if you think about electronic toll collection, everyone in the world has it today. But in the 80s, you remember getting those little tokens or taking your quarters and driving
the barcode scanner on the side too.
Yeah, and you drive down the highway, and then all of a sudden there'd be a 3-mile backup because people had to stop, throw a quarter in a bin, and then go. And I still remember my father saying, "We're going to fix that." And it was just I was in my teen years then, and it was just great to see what if. And I always like the what if. So to your question, whether something's a 1-person company or a 10,000 person company or something in between, I never really thought about it like that. I just thought, let's solve some problems and let's make some people's lives better and make a lot of money doing it. And I think and my dad always told me this, but rest his soul. He said, find a big problem, make that problem either go away or make the pain of it reduced for the people who experience it. And then make it really easy for them to consume your solution, and you can change the world. And it was really telling. And so that's the way to look at it. As it applies to Kaseya, it's a big market. There's a lot of people who use technology, and by helping our customers make their business more profitable and easier to use, or easier to operate, we kind of got lucky. So I never really thought about size or scale. It was just, if it happens, and sometimes you get lucky. If we did Kaseya 10 years earlier or 10 years later, wouldn't have worked.
So true. Sometimes timing is everything. But like you said, solve little problems, make little money. Solve big problems, make big money.
Exactly right.
There's some rapid fire. I might know some of these answers. I'm going to just hit you with like 3 or 4, just 1, 2 words, or 10 seconds, whatever you think. So who is your business hero?
My father.
Okay, now I'm also going to say, I'm going to follow this up, and I think it's going to be the same answer possibly. Who's your personal hero?
My father. Yeah.
And folks, check out his father's just bio online, and it's unbelievable everything he did. What's one thing that people will be surprised to learn about you?
I get incredible social anxiety in groups and speaking in front of people.
No way. You're so good at it. So I was going to say eat 1 meal a day or jujitsu, that you'll put me in an arm bar, but I would have never picked social anxiety with you. So you mask it well. Yeah.
Well, thank you. It took a lot of work, and I definitely get very nervous when I have to go and speak in front of people or groups. But the other 2 things, like you said, I do eat 1 meal a day because I'm not disciplined enough. I would be the fattest man in the world. And I've been doing jujitsu for a very long time. I'm not very good at it, but I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
I wouldn't try to fight you, so I think you do a little better than me there. So what's one book any entrepreneur should read?
Oh, great question. Wow. So, oh man, that's a tough one. I'll tell you one book I think every person on the planet should read that will add value to their life. It's a business-centric book. It's so good for entrepreneurs, because if you're an entrepreneur, one of the things you have to do is deal with people, and whether that person's a customer or an employee or investor or whatever. There's a book and also everyone should have their significant other read this, your children read it. I read this book every 2 years, literally. It's called Leadership and Self-Deception.
I have not read that one. I'm going to buy it. I
got a steak dinner on this with you, brother. You read this book, you're going to go, "Ooh, I did that. Oh, I did that." And it's a book. It's such an easy read. It's allegorical. It's not it's not something that it's on the Harvard pre-reading list. Thank God. It is so useful and practical for business and for your personal life and everything in between. And why I say it'd be good for entrepreneurs to read it. One of the things that I believe makes human beings live fulfilled lives and entrepreneurs be successful in their business lives is self-awareness. You really need to be self-aware and applying self-awareness to others. And there's a concept in this book about being in the box. Are you in your own box? Are you understanding is the person you're dealing with in their box? And how is that impacting everything and every feeling and every thought and every communication? It is one of the best books. One of my mentors, a gentleman named Yochi Slonim, brilliant man, second only to my father in terms of brilliance of people I've met in real life. And he was my partner at Identify Software, and now he runs Anima Biotech. He had me read that book, and it changed my life. I would encourage everyone to read it. It's fascinating.
I'm ordering it right after this. I mean, if you're saying that, and
you'll love it, you will really love it. It's so easy. It's an easy read, but you'll love it because you'll relate to it. And then and right after you read it, text me. We'll talk about it. I have all my management teams read it. And then I said, anyone I hire, a direct report or a level 2, I have them read that book. I also have them read 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. But
That's a good one. I read that one.
Yeah, look good. But I like this leadership book. And then I have a discussion with them about what'd you get from it. And then 2 years later, give another homework assignment. They read it. Tell me now. And it's so fascinating.
Well, you'll be getting a text from me soon on that. How fast can Amazon deliver it? So, we talked about a lot of different things, but you have your younger self, maybe, or another tech entrepreneur. 30 seconds, best advice you could give them to scale their business.
Don't micromanage everything. No, I mean, be a micromanager. All the crap you read that HBS puts out, or, all these fancy business books, they're written by people who A, have never done anything, or B, they're written by people who never built anything. And that's a very general statement. It's very controversial, and I'm sure some people there are exceptions to it. But when I say micromanage everything, I'm not saying micromanage people. Micromanage your business. So that means as you're an entrepreneur, so it's your baby. You're the best. You know everything that you want. As you scale, you can't do everything. It's the reality. So people talk about scale, hire great people. People will tell you to hire great people, leave them alone and let them do their thing. Don't do that. Hire great people. Make sure that you're able to micromanage the outcomes, not the people, but the outcomes. And then deconstruct those outcomes into their building blocks and micromanage those building blocks, the status of them. So you can find problems in real time, either as they're happening or before they happen. Because what entrepreneurs, when you get to scale, are the best at is solving problems. Professional managers, people that have never started things or built things and aren't entrepreneurial, but are process gurus, they're excellent at stewarding something. However, if you're not constantly making something better, stewardship leads to destruction. So I talk to a lot of investment groups and private equity firms that manage at scale investments. And I'm a firm believer in either the entrepreneur, him or herself, or entrepreneurial leaders are the people that scale the best, because they have the ability to understand the detailed nuances of what make things work and not work, opposed to just looking at the theory or looking at a generic playbook, because the generic managers fail. If you look at Starbucks, they brought in a generic leader and he destroyed Starbucks.
Literally.
Look at Harley Davidson. They brought in that knucklehead from Germany, destroyed Harley Davidson. These weren't entrepreneurial people, and they were sure as hell weren't entrepreneurs. They were generic management consulting types that come in and look at something and they see it all the same way. And when you look at the great leaders and the great companies, they have not lost their entrepreneurial DNA because their leaders are entrepreneurial. So if I'm talking to someone who's scaling a business, don't get out of the weeds of your business. Don't micromanage the people, because that is not scalable. But you better be able to have the information and the data and the ability to dive in and out of the business so you can still be in the detail and in the weeds, so you can micromanage the outcomes. And that doesn't end whether you're as large as Starbucks or you're as small as a 10-person startup.
And I could share for anyone listening, I wish I met Fred 10 years ago when he gave me that advice, because it took me, we'll be 25 years at the end of 25 here. And I micromanage people. Now I micromanage processes. I have all my KPIs and reports and things I want to see. And again, I always tell people, prevent the car crash, or to talk about a team sport analogy, if you're the quarterback and you got the ball, there's a sack clock, right? You can only hold that ball so long. Make the freaking call, right? Don't send an email, pick up the phone, call someone, and I think that's the human side I think's also missed. So last question, we'll let you wrap up here. I don't want to tease you too much about what's going on. I know you got something cooking. Maybe I'll pull it out of you before it happens. But what excites you most about the future with AI, the industry, or just anything in business? Like what's next?
I tell you, so I'm an entrepreneur. I've started 5 companies. Had outcomes on all of them, IPOs, sales, etc. I've never been more excited to be an entrepreneur. What everyone talks about, AI. Yeah, it's real. You're going to laugh at this, Anthony. I have a book coming out.
No way.
Yeah, it'll be launched in the middle of November. I just finished the manuscript. I haven't had that much fun doing something since I landed my first guillotine choke on somebody a long time ago. I loved it. It was a great experience. It was super cool, and I learned so much. At Kaseya, we were early in AI just by the nature of what we did and what we do. Right? If you think about what Kaseya does, and this is going to change the world completely. It'll change our society completely, and so fast. It's going to be disruptive. It's going to be dangerous. Social unrest. It's going to be ugly, but it's super fascinating. So that's exciting. You know, I built up my family office. I also think there's a lot of things in the medical field. So I recently acquired a medical business, and that medical business is it's exploding. And I think that the way, at least in the United States, people consume healthcare is fundamentally changing, and hoping the cutting edge there. And you know, I also took over as chairman and CEO of a company called Simpro. And what we do at Simpro is we have a field service management platform for commercial and residential trades. And what we're building now at Simpro is we're building a comprehensive AI-first operating platform for commercial and residential trades businesses around the world. Commercial and residential trades businesses make up the vast majority of the middle class. And these are the businesses that keep the lights on at our schools. They keep our houses warm. They keep our the hospitals working. And very similar to MSPs, the average trades business, whether it's focusing on residential or commercial businesses, makes an 8% profit margin. And very similar to what I saw at Kaseya. When I looked at Kaseya, I look at this industry and I look at these tradespeople, which is the largest vertical industry in the world. The most underappreciated part of our society are the people that are these tradespeople. They allow our lives to exist. So we've designed and we're taking that field service management platform and we're expanding it to be a complete operating platform that will change the unit economics for commercial and residential trade organizations around the world. So we're going to double the profit margin of the middle class of the United States and the world. And that is going to be, I'm so excited to start that journey. And those are things that are exciting to me. It's just, again, solving problems and trying to help people and make a lot of money while we do it.
That's awesome. Like I'll say it, I'll share a private text basically. I say to you, I feel like it every time I meet you, right? People meet me locally here and like, oh, you got all these businesses, you do TV, you're on the road with the tech tank driving around. How do you do it? And then I have a conversation with you and I feel like I'm working a part-time job and taking a nap half the time with everything you're accomplishing. So I'm looking forward to seeing, all those things come up. And, with that being said, your time is very valuable. I know you got things you have to do. So thank you so much for joining. Thanks for sharing your story. And, obviously I'll be seeing you, but, like I said, look him up, guys. And for those of you not in the industry, if you're in the IT industry, technology, Fred, he changed the game. But if you're not in the industry, you will get a master class in business lessons and not an MBA, not a theory thing, but real world. So thanks,
Well,
Fred.
Anthony, thanks, man. And again, you are a very humble man. What you have built is just spectacular. I love it. I love the tank. It's the coolest thing in the world. And I'm very grateful to have gotten to know you, grateful for our friendship, and thanks for the opportunity to come on your podcast.
Yeah, great. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.